Shalom, 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 shalom. This is the brother from the Great Mill, number one from the Great Millstone Camp here in Philadelphia, giving all praises, due honor to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Kakodash. Hold on. Wait, what the hell? Alright, so Lakia, also I want to give double honors to the elder apostles out there, Great Millstone, and honors and salutation out there to the hopeful elect. So, yeah, this is where we at today. Charlie Kirk. Guess he was a, conservative speaker. Let me see his background. Let's go into his background real quick. Okay, so it says Charlie James Kirk is an American right-wing political activist. And they say he was he was 6'5", goddamn. And they say he was a major influence in supposedly the reason why Trump, got into office, which we all know the elites put him there. Okay, that was already a part of the agenda. But it says he's an American right-wing political activist, author, and media personality. Okay. I'll read this too. He was 31 years old. Okay. He was unalive today. Wow, come on now. You be waiting for something to happen, and this is before, 9/11. Okay, so this is on the 10th, September the 10th, 2025. Okay, he's 31 years old. He's still young as hell. Yeah, it says born in Arlington Heights, Illinois. He co-founded the conservative organization Turning Point USA in 2012, for which he serves as executive director. All right, let me see. Did he got a wiki? Okay, he got an X account. Let me see. IG, we're gonna check all this. Let me see if he got a wiki. Okay, same information. Yeah, and it's funny. His organization is called Turning Point. So we're going to see what happens. Is this going to be a turning point? A paradigm shift? Especially in a free speech atmosphere, what's going to happen? Yeah, 93. Wait, is he the or was that the other man? Is he to change my mind? Okay, that's not him. Okay, what's his name? Oh, Steve. Okay, Stephen Crowder. Okay.
Even yourself to the audience and what it is you do. And this is the way to do it, called Why Refi at 888 Damn the 21st Century.
I think that's right. I think it's always easy to conflate the two phenomena. They are distinct phenomena in lots of ways. There's lots of them.
It's completely unconstitutional the way he's using it.
Why?
Because he's giving people, he's writing, shipping people away without due process. The same way the INA was used for Mahmoud Khalil. Completely unconstitutional.
No, it's totally constitutional.
Absolutely not. I don't understand how you can deport someone based off their First Amendment rights.
Okay, but again, they are not a U.S. citizen. They are not afforded the same U.S. rights, the same rights that we are.
Correct?
Can they vote?
No, they can't.
Can they own a gun?
No, they can't.
Is the government allowed to quarter soldiers in their home?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, well, the point being is, like, at some point you don't have the same rights that we do.
I mean, you said ordering, so I mean that's against the Third Amendment.
Right. The point being they don't get the same rights that we do.
Well, no. They do absolutely get the same rights. It's the way
You just acknowledge they can't buy a gun.
All right. I don't know why I'm just checking for any information, any signs. Which he's absolutely right. I'm reading this here. He's absolutely right, man. Yeah. Look, he made this post. Said 11 million views on X. America would never. Let me see the comments on this. I already know it's gonna be hate filled. You know they're gonna talk about the left. Yada yada yada. Let's see. That's bullshit. Mm. His last words was gang violence. Okay. That because he showed that. Yeah, and exactly, man. But of course, they're for their own kind, so you know that goes without saying. But there is no outrage when Jake are the victims, of violent crimes, by other ethnicities, or by Edomites. Yeah, it looked like she got a gun as a necklace on her necklace or some shit. Those who live by the sword shall die by the sword. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, because he was unalive by an Edomite. Okay, this man Charlie Kirk was unalive. he was assassinated, okay, by an Edomite. And like this look like two different people. Might be her, I don't know, without no makeup. But these images don't look like AI or something. So this was a huge thing that was going on, you know. Hell was nothing but outrage. You know, it still ties into it though. You know, Esau is big mad. Okay, and then another Edomite took out one of their own. You know, we want to see if they're gonna have the same outrage. You know, it's like this. The whole thing is the left and the right. And what does the scripture say? Man, I think it's Matthew 12. Yep. This is Matthew chapter 12 and 26. I'm gonna go to 25. It said, it says, and Yahweh Shah knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Right, and you know, you got the left and the right, man. They're divided against one another. You know, the Republicans, they hate the Democrats, and the Democrats hate the Republicans. You know, and there's a civil war that's brewing, and also a famine of the word. Okay, which even the scriptures say about us, man. You know, all of this is going to be directed to us. You know, that go out there on the highways and byways and teach this word. This is Matthew 24:9. It says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. You know, referring to the prophets, and shall kill you. Okay? You know, Charlie Kirk, this don't apply to him, but he was, unalive. He's gonna, die a martyr. Okay? So this is like open fire or open season, man. This is what we can or may experience, man. And the scriptures talk about us being beheaded for Yahweh Shah's sake, man. That's glorious, man. You know, for any brother, that has to go through that, man, it's honorable. Okay, it says precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints, man. And that's an honorable way to go out, man. Okay, giving up your life, man. If you look at it, they all had to give up their life, man. And they went out brutally. Okay. And look at the way Kirk went out, man. That was brutal. That was a professional ass hit, man. Okay. They put that shot where it was supposed to go, man. That was a professional hit, man. And that Edomite, he probably, who knows, man. But that was a hit right there, man. And reportedly it was from an Edomite. Okay. Like I keep saying, like, let's see if they have the same outrage, and let's see what's going to happen in the next coming days, man. We want to see if things turn up. Okay. if you go on social media, you know, Esau is big mad, man, right now. Okay, he is big mad. These Edomites are, very upset with what's, happening in their country. Yeah, let me play this one.
Thank you. Thank you. The restaurants now.
Again, this man could have been a sacrifice for them to have the green light to fully, take over with force. Okay.
Restaurants now are booming. People are going out to dinner. The restaurants now are booming. People are going out to dinner where they didn't go out for years. And it's a safe city, and I just want to thank the National Guard. We loved working with the mayor and the chief, and we all work together, and
Yeah, normalizing the police state.
the outcome is really spectacular.
Okay, so it says President Trump is walking out and has message to Americans sick of crime. Okay, we have a capital that is very, very safe right now. We're taking our country back. Okay, by what? By force. They really they have to. What else are they gonna do? They're still normalizing a police state. Okay, and that's gonna fulfill prophecy because it's going to get worse. You're going to have, it's going to be a certain, they showed you in all the movies, it's going to be a certain event. It's going to happen. The military is going to have the power. They're going to take over. Okay, and the people, the citizens, they're going to be the enemy. Okay, and they're going to lock you up like they're doing now with the Northern Kingdom. That's all programming. Next, they coming for Jake, man, and they're going to lock you up, detain you, FEMA camps, concentration camps, whatever. They're gonna lock you down, and they're gonna be, indiscriminately unaliving you. Okay, they're gonna have that power, man, and they're gonna use their force. That's why they changed from the Department of Defense to the Department of War. And like what Trump on the True Social. Let me see, Shy Apocalypse. Hold on. Let's see what they got the pull. Here we go. This is on the True Social website. I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. Okay, and you see the background, fire, shy, apocalypse. You had a word chip in there as well. It's a lot that's going on in this, and also what's going to happen down the line. And I mentioned before, but you're going to get back to these scriptures about the famine of the word, man. Okay, there's not going to be any more so-called freedom of speech, man. They have people like Donald Trump, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, Charlie Kirk, Nick Fuentes. You have a bunch of them, okay, out there who basically saying whatever they want to say. Just like us, we coming out there on the highways and byways and we teaching you what's in the Bible. The so-called white man doesn't like that, especially when you say that he's not the real Jew. Okay, when you bring out the facts that he's an Edomite, they don't like that. Okay, they don't like the truth, just like they're trying to change the truth of what happened during slavery. Trump basically minimized the effects and the severity and the harshness of slavery. That we went through, saying it wasn't that bad. They changed the truth into a lie. Okay? So they want to erase the history of our past, man. Just like our name. Just it tells you about our name, of them not remembering our name anymore. Let me see. Psalms 86, 83. Psalms 83 and 4, it says, they have said, come, let us cut them off, just like they cutting off our history being taught from being a nation. That's part of it. And again, what we went through, okay, during hardcore slavery was all in prophecy. It was all prophecy, man. They trying to eliminate that history to cause us to forget. And that's part of cutting us off from being a nation, by not knowing our history. Just like our history in this country, it just starts with slavery. That's it. Slavery, Martin Luther King, and that's it. They don't talk about nothing else. You know, the civil rights era, which was the homosexual rights era. They don't talk about the real history, man. What really happened, man. You know, they'll say Abraham freed the slaves, which that was nothing but a transfer of ownership. You know, we got sold to the North. And after so-called slavery ended, it was much worse for, you know, so-called black people, you know, to make it or live in America. And then the lynching started, which Jake is still being lynched today. Okay, you know, the soldiers that, I think it was either World War One or two, that of our people, the so-called black people that fought in World War One, I think it was either one or two. When they came back over here, they were being killed, man. They were being lynched. They couldn't get a job. They couldn't get a home after serving this damn devil. But they don't tell you that history, man. They don't tell you how Esau, which they do it today, how they used to eat us. They used to consume our flesh. Okay, they turn our flesh into products, into shoes, into lampshades. Okay, it said that, I think it was Andrew Jackson, I believe it was, I gotta look it up, that he would use the flesh of Native American Indians as his horse reins, or reins to his horse. That's some sadistic shit. That's barbaric. With this, he used our children as alligator bait, and then you got alligator Alcatraz, Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street about to happen again in every city where Jake is, man. Like the scriptures say, it talks about an uprising. The situation with that female, which I said in the previous video, she could have been a Jake, you know, that was in the Edomite body, you know. But they, you know, Esau, like I said, he's big mad, man. He's extremely irate and incensed and upset. Okay, and they want to go to war, and guess what? They're ready. There's Edomites that are ready. When they give them that green light, they know what they got to do. But Jake, on the other hand, you got certain Jakes, you know, they trained or whatever, but they not ready for shit to go down. Okay, like Esau. Esau has been training for years, for decades, man. They know that it's going to go. They know about what they call helter skelter. Okay, they know about the race war. The race wars is in the Bible, man. You know, real quick, Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation. Okay, that's ethnicity shall rise against ethnicity. Okay, ethnos, a people, group, nation. Okay. Let me see, Gar. All right, never mind. It says, indeed shall rise to rise, stir up. The racial tensions are being stirred up, man. Okay? To lift up, rouse, and that's the word. Egero. To rise. And then it says kingdom against kingdom. Power against power. Dominion. Rulership. Royal power. Yeah, I mean, that's Jacob and Esau as well, man. You know, Esau's kingdom versus Yahweh's kingdom. Yep. Says there, then you got the whole Nepal overthrow. Like, what the hell? It's so much going on. You cannot keep up with what's going on. It's impossible to keep up with all this stuff, man. But that's what's going to happen, man. How you go? Okay, X. Okay, this is all prophecies being fulfilled, man. Now going back into this, Amos 8 and 11 says, "Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Kakadash, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord." Okay? You know, you're going to have a lack of intelligence. You know, you're not going to have the truth, man, flowing anymore, man. You know, at a certain point in time, the Lord is going to cause us to stop speaking his word, man. And you people, you're going to be totally bugged out and going. There's not going to be any intelligence left. You know, the internet, the social media, that might be shut down during that time, or it might still be in effect overseas. But here in America, hey, you're gonna be left out. And you're gonna be left here when the missiles drop, unless you're of the elect. And with this Charlie Kirk situation, that can lead to that, you know, the famine of the word, man. I don't know. I don't remember the last time. Let me see. Yeah, Donald Trump does not count at all, man. Okay. The government's still at large. What the hell? Of course, you got Abraham Lincoln. Oh yeah, you did, but talking about at a certain magnitude. Wow, that's crazy. Wow. Yup, that's Psalms 137. Okay. Hortman and her husband were shot and killed in their home by a gunman impersonating a police officer. You know, these are hits, man, by the elites. Hmm. Yup, Dialine Roof. Remember this damn devil. American mass murderer says Pickney was part of a Bible study group at the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church, where he was revered. Reverend when Ruth entered and asked to join. Yeah, yo, they had that in that movie, Sinners. He asked to join. Yeah, and they allowed it to happen. See, never trust thy enemy, man. Ruth participated for nearly an hour before he drew a gun and began shooting people in the church. You see, this is what happens when you trust a so-called white man. Okay, he entered and asked to join, so they allowed him to join. Okay, they trusted their enemy. You know, then they'll talk about Jesus. They talking about the goddamn white man. Okay, the Lord, he told us in an apocrypha, never trust thy enemy. And this what happened when he trusted their enemy. He drew a gun and began shooting people in the church. Pickney and 8 others were killed. Ruth was captured. They ain't do nothing to him. In North Carolina the following morning. So she's 2020, 2025. Yeah, okay, and there's another one, state senator, but they were injured. John Hoffman and his wife. How you let the police in your house? Like, come on, man. You gotta show a badge or something. Like, Okay, here you go. They put him up there. Non-office holding politician. So he didn't hold an office in the political world. They say right wing. Okay, political activist. They already put him up there. Damn. Oh, and it was a Turning Point USA event at Utah Valley University. And CNN said it was a school shooting. Orem, Utah. which I believe this is a hit, you know, by the higher ups. You know, it says during a Turning Point USA event. Like, come on, this is all like symbolic, man. This is all symbolic. It's going to be a turning point, man. Let me see this word turning point. Turning point. Wait, am I recording? All right, cool. Now they said he was in critical condition, but there's no way he could have survived that. And it says turning point, a time at which a decisive change in a situation occurs. That's, come on, man. Especially one with beneficial results. Okay, so it's going to be beneficial for the elites, man, for the globalists, like Alex Jones would say, the globalists. This is all symbolic, man. Yeah, this dude was a sacrifice. 13 years ago. I know, you know, they gonna have the people that doing the gematria. You see if they got the shooting. Okay, so they don't have it up here yet. Okay, they got this updated though. So after this, man, this is probably gonna be a turning point, man. This is approximately 12 p.m., 12:10 p.m. local time. Kirk, while attending an event, was shot in the neck from approximately 200 yards away. Kirk was answering a question on low numbers of mass shootings committed by T-gender people prior to the shooting. He was specifically asked, "Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?" Kirk responded, "Counting or not counting gang violence," which he's talking about our people. Then, and was then shot. He's still at large somehow. He's still at large. The shooter is still at large, man. Damn, his children were in attendance. Damn. Then see, there were no metal detectors, more security. Security. Says Kirk was taken to Utah Valley Hospital, which is about 3 miles southeast from the university and neighboring city of Provo, Utah. The Associated Press reported at approximately 1:45 local time that the source had told them that Kirk was in critical condition at the hospital. It says Reuters reported he underwent surgery, citing a university spokesman. At 2:40 local time, President Donald Trump stated on his Truth Social account that Kirk had died. Kirk's death was also confirmed by his spokesperson. Okay, so this could change everything. This might lead to something major in this society. Yep. It says Kirk's killing came at a time of deepening division and increasingly frequent violence in American political life. Yeah, we in a time of violence and mayhem, man. Okay, it is only going to get worse, man. Okay, you got Esau on social media going crazy. Okay, saying enough is enough. You know, and they want to. They're about acts. They want to get to physically doing something instead of talking. So like Young Thug said, watch out. We got to be circumspect, man. And again, this could happen to us, man. You know what I'm saying? We are not exempt from this. We out there in the open, in public. We not behind a damn keyboard, behind a TV or a monitor, or a computer monitor, or a tablet, or a laptop. Okay, we out there. When we go out there, whatever day we choose, in the open, in the public, man. Okay, on the highways and byways, man. You know, putting our lives on the line, man. You know, making our bodies a living sacrifice. Okay, and these things could happen, man. So this is like this is like their MLK. Okay, Charlie Kirk is like Esau's MLK, man. This is like the modern day MLK for Esau. You know who's really behind it. Come on now. You know who's really behind it, man. The ones with the small hats. So he made it to the list of assassinated American politicians. You know, it says non-office holding politicians. And this was 2025. She was June 2025, but it wasn't like national news, you know, worldwide. No, she wasn't as popular as Charlie Kirk was. Which he would wait. Let me go back to them South Park episodes. See if I see something. You know, so this is like an open forum, man. I'ma just, you know, close it on out right here. I'm gonna read this again. If I didn't read this, Matthew 12:26, and if Satan cast out Satan, you see, and that's what's going on, man. Like both, they hate one another, man. He is divided against himself. This country is divided. Okay, what did it say here? Yep. Kurt's killing came at a time of deepening division, which another word for division is divided, or to be divided. And that's what's happening, is deepening. Like it said, man. It's getting worse and worse, man. Becoming deeper. The division is becoming deeper, man. You know, people are becoming more and more separated from one another, man. You know, there's no coming together, man. Wait, what's that song? Or that We Are the World. Okay, it's about the Beatles. Come together. Ain't no coming together, man. Wow. Shoot me. That's crazy. So there's no coming together, man. Okay? He is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Okay? The Lord already knew. The Lord already knew, man. And it's the distinction between these political parties is at an all-time high, man. Let me see if I got this word right. Come on, dog. You know, and hey, what's gonna happen next? We literally September 11th. It's tomorrow. Like this is before September 11th. Come on, now this is all a setup, man. You know, it was Lord's willing, a turning point. So with that, hopefully it's edifying. Until next time, I say shalom.